Well, been one heck of a ride going through coronavirus, riots. Lord, what is wrong with the world? Well, we got June 19th, it's Friday. Pepperoni's toes are finally healed. My God, that's going to go down in history as one of the worst things I've ever had to deal with her, the poor girl. But the new medication worked, and toes are healed, and love our new vet. Gentleman really worked with Pup because she has had major issues with veterinary clinics, petrified, shaking, and quivering because just had bad vets in the past. And several can't even take blood, and I had one encounter, and they poked her 14 times to get blood. And so she's deathly afraid of needles now. And that time, I actually ended up stopping them. I reviewed a YouTube video on how to roll the vein in the arm so I could show the vet where the vein was so they could actually draw blood. So at any rate, that's passed. So this new vet, he was really concerned with Pup when we showed up. Pup was all quivering, nervous, and he says, what's wrong? And I told him. He comes right up, barrel hold, hugs Pup, starts kissing her. You good girl, blah, 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 love you. Well, she buttered up to him a little better, and that was good. And he we diagnosed everything together, and he did put us on the script originally, and then so that way she was on something, and we waited for the blood work to come back from the lab. And wow, labs are expensive. That's one thing I've learned about this experience. But there was 3 major bacteria she had gotten, and one was a staphylococcus. I couldn't pronounce it, aka staph infection, and some can be very lethal. And I got kudos for everything I did from the vet because those are really nasty bacteria that can really affect dogs real bad. So because she's super healthy and a super strong girl in her prime, she's a young 12 and a half. She'll be 13 in November. So we got the proper medication. We did the 7 to 10 day duration. So on morning 11, we started walking and testing poor Pup's toes because every time on trail, we walk about 5-10 miles for 3 days. After we had tried a prescription, her toes the tops of them, they would swell right up and bleed like little cherries. It was horrifying. So day 11, 12, and 13, we did 10 miles a day locally in Florida, and no swelling, which made me really happy, and her. She was back on trail. Lord, is it hot down here right now. And so day 14 of the prescription, went back and saw the vet, and he says, you're all good, it looks good, and we think that there's this little bit of a bubble effect to it still, but we think it's been infected for so long, there's just a lot of swelling scar tissue and literally extra scar tissue and skin in there now from being swollen for so long, contracting and receding and expanding. So he says, no, she looks fine, but he was concerned, so he says, I want her to stop antibiotics. Poor girl's been on and off antibiotics since February. Keep that in mind, this poor girl. So he wants to give her liver and kidneys and thyroids and everything a big break from antibiotics. So he sent us with another prescription, which is stronger than the one that we were just on. And he says, if you have a relapse on trail, here you go. Now that's a vet. So bless him for that. Man is a savior as far as I'm concerned. Just completely saved us because Pepperoni and I were just beyond tired of dealing with this issue. But what's going on? We are headed to the trailhead, the Appalachian Trail at Amicalola Falls, my Florida Trail. Love the AT. Florida Trail's great. Love the AT. You just can't pass up the AT. I've called a whole bunch of the spots that we stayed at over the past, 10 years. They're open. Come on in, bring pup. So, it's a little late in the year to be getting on the AT, but whatever. I've had enough. We're going to go hit the AT. Got the Paragon Backpack 58. And I changed gear as always, and I should have bought the 48. So, slowly getting my gear figured out over all these years. I'll go over some of the new items I have on trail. I've been just dealing with so much in domestic life that I haven't done any videos, and I'm sorry. But this story is going to be really, really cool because in 2019, on our first day on the Appalachian Trail, Pepperoni and I go up the staircase, San Nicola Falls, and we bump into a fellow. We chatted and we made it to the first shelter together. And of course, I was 255 pounds, and I hadn't hiked in quite a little while. And so I said, that's enough. And Pup and I are tired. So we got the chat and blah, 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 blah. And this gentleman has been trying to do the Appalachian Trail for quite a long time. He's done a lot of section hiking. He's done a lot of Georgia. He didn't have a trail name. Well, I really liked the guy, and I forget if it was day 1, 2, or 3. He was only out there for a few days. And we had another fellow with us named Big Swing because he had this gigantic hammock set up, and it was cold. I mean, it was March. It was March the 14th. Wow, I can't believe I remember that. I ended up naming this individual Noble just because the way he is. I mean, I liked the guy. It was cool. We hit it right off. We hiked together. My original hike partners that were supposed to meet me on trail didn't meet me, and they're what I call bunnies. I'm a turtle. Bunnies have got to go real fast on trail and super, super fast, and that ain't me. That ain't Pup. We can stay on trail for, 7 days a week. We don't care. And we can pull 18 to 25s every single day. It's not difficult for us at a slow pace. We just do big hours. That's why I'm called Turtle. But at any rate, back to Noble. So, 2020 that we're in now was Noble's year to do the hike. He was going to do end for end. So he jumped on trail in March, as is tradition. And he made it to South Carolina. He says he touched the border. When he touched the border, coronavirus was at a peak and got off trail. Poor guy. Well, of course, February, Pup and I, end of February, March, whatever it was, Pup and I got off trail because of her toes, and I was concerned, and coronavirus, my God. So we've both been grounded. Well, we touched base and said howdy and been talking, and just in case I went through my gear and did some upgrades and changes and blah, blah, blah. And so Noble's getting dropped off at the airport today. Yep, and he's got his shuttle ride. We're driving to Amicalola, and we're meeting up, and he's going to rewalk Georgia. So here we are in 2020 on the original plan that Noble and I would meet up in March and hike the AT together, because we were going to do the Florida Trail And then we were going to do, I forget the other names of the trail. There's a bunch to connect to Amicalola Falls. But we were going to do those trails and we were going to meet them. Never happened, but here we are. Everything's working out. And Pepperoni, myself, and Noble, as originally planned, are meeting in the AT. And we've agreed that we'll go for 1 week. That's always my plan. But with the open-minded that we'll go to Harper's Ferry. Love going to Harper's Ferry. And it's a nice walk to there. So we're super excited to get back on trail. I'm going to be around some mountains. Miss the mountains and rocks. Lord, Florida doesn't have rocks unless you buy them. So we're going back out. It's going to be an adventure. You know, in case I've never said it, I just want to thank everybody out there. You are my family, and I read every single comment. The answers are by me and Pup. They're sincere. We really appreciate you out there. I am over time trying to improve my channel for everybody. Rather, I'm still new to all the fancy world here, so just want to say thank you again. Thank you to the subscribers, and let's just keep on hiking our hike. And thank you for joining along. Right, Pepperoni? I'm gonna go for a walk. Ooh, yeah, just a little one. Yeah.